You know how Soyny decided it was a good idea to completely wreck the Japanese game industry, all in the name of global standards? Like, oh, you can't even make games for only the Japanese audience that'll never be released outside of Japan anymore because we're a global brand, guys. We gotta think of global standards. And they had their Japanese branch parroting that shit as well. Well, we've known this all along, but now we got fucking proof that when these dipshits say global standards, what they mean is the standards that the office in California wants to hold the entire globe to. Because if they really were going for global standards, they would go for the lowest common denominator of censorship. But when it comes to their baby, The Last of Us 2, oh, The Last of Us is untouchable. We can't possibly censor this masterpiece. So the Middle East steps in and is like, nah, bitch, we're gonna censor it. If only they evenly enforced their global standards, huh? Japan has to just get wrecked for global standards. But the West, it's like, oh, feel free to produce whatever that is going to be banned on half the fucking globe. Because I'd be willing to bet the Middle East is just the start. China's probably going to ban it as well. Russia's probably going to ban it as well. The list is going to keep growing. The list is going to grow because they don't really care about global standards. If they really cared about global standards, they would censor down to China and the Middle East and Russia's standards. But no, when they say global standards, once again, they mean the standards they want to force the globe to. Even if that means losing like half the world of their potential audience. You know who doesn't get censored worldwide? Japanese games. Now, Western localizers censor them themselves, but with the exception of a few like super cucked countries like Australia and the UK and New Zealand, most other countries are fine releasing Japanese games exactly as is, just with a higher age rating. It's the fucking localizers that censor them. Meanwhile, if they censored The Last of Us 2 down to global standards, they could have gotten it in all these other countries. But no, here we got shit that's outright banned in most other countries. But they don't give a shit. Because, fuck all these other countries, fuck these other cultures, fuck their belief systems. Their belief systems are wrong. Only our one true belief system will be forced on the entire rest of the fucking world, whether they like it or not. And they're going to suffer for this mindset. I can guarantee you that. Because The Last of Us Part 2 is banned in the Middle East. And this is just the start. Piss poor players in the Middle East looking to get The Last of Us Part 2 on release will have to jump through a couple of hoops. Yeah, just like what we've had to do multiple times. I have a Japanese and a Singapore PSN account, and I've had to use them. I mean, I don't use them anymore because I don't support Soyny anymore, but back when I did, I mean, shit, I got Peach Beach Splash. The fucking hour it launched in Japan, I got it on my Japanese PSN account, and I was playing that shit. Those were the days. The Last of Us Part 2 is seemingly not getting an official release in a number of Middle Eastern countries where the censor station games are typically distributed. Yeah, you remember when the so-called civilized world was banning fiction they don't like? When you had multiple countries banning Omega Labyrinth Z? You know who didn't ban Omega Labyrinth Z? Now, ultimately, the game unfortunately got completely canceled because of Soyny. Yet another reason I hate this fucking company and wanted to go bankrupt, by the way. Soyny eventually killed it. But before then, a bunch of countries were banning that game. You know who didn't ban it? The Middle East. And yet the alleged free world, the alleged civilized world, couldn't fucking handle anime titties. But the Middle East was fine with it. And these are the fucking dipshits that like to moralize about how superior their culture is to Islam in the Middle East. Yeah. You got no fucking leg to stand on, you worthless fucking hypocrites. The game has been promoted by the official censor station Twitter accounts in the region and does show up on the list of upcoming games seen on the pages for the UAE and Saudi Arabia, but you can't actually buy it through their respective PlayStation stores. Oh, just wait until their social media has to be censored. Yeah, in fact, the links to the regional PlayStation stores are dead. Ruh-roh. Now, what do you guys think? You think they're going to completely just leave the game out of the Middle East and tell them to import it? Or do you think they're going to censor it for the Middle East? I wonder. Reddit user Ghost Techful got in touch with Censor Station support to see why they couldn't pre-order the game through the UAE PS Store and got an email that pretty much confirms the ban. A quick search on either PS Store for The Last of Us Part 2 returns results for the original PS3 game and the piss-poor remaster, and this usually means the game in question hasn't been officially approved for sale in the country. And the same people that celebrate when Western countries ban anime titties are probably going to be shrieking about how horrible of an act of censorship this is now that the Middle East is doing it. The whole lot of them are fucking hypocrites. By comparison, Ghost of Tsushima, another upcoming Censor Station exclusive, will be localized in Arabic and already has a page on the Censor Station store for both the UAE and Saudi Arabia. Good. The ESRB rating for The Last of Us Part 2 confirmed nudity and sexual content. Yeah, that's another hypocritical double standard there. If The Last of Us 2 was made in Japan and it was in anime style, there's no fucking way they would allow even half the content that game has. But since it's purposely made to be unappealing and unattractive, it's the good old boys. It's the Westerners. It's the people on the right side of history that made this. Yeah. They're totally not racist against Asians or anything, though. Yeah, so it confirmed nudity and sexual content, so that could be a part of the reason behind the ban. I bet it's not the nudity or sexual content. It's probably... it's the carpet munching that did it, would be my guess. The game also stars Alphabet Soup characters and has Alphabet Soup themes, and those tend to get any work of art banned, regardless of how slight they may be. Uh-huh. It's the Alphabet Soup stuff. So once again, if you fuckers were serious about your global standards narrative that you keep spewing when you censor Japanese games, you'd be censoring this too. You'd be censoring the Alphabet Soup shit for global standards. But you're not, are you? This just proves you don't care about global standards. You care about your Western imperialist standards. These same people that shriek about culture appropriation and imperialism and all that shit have no fucking problems being imperialist and forcing their ideology on the rest of the world. And thankfully, the Middle East still has some fucking balls, and they're saying, nah, fam, we don't want this shit here. Just leave it out. We'd rather just ban this whole thing. Case closed. Oh man, I am so excited to tell you guys right now that finally, after about a year of build-up and shilling, we have launched Blade Devil on Indiegogo, and so far it is doing so well thanks to awesome people like you. If you haven't backed it yet, then please check the links in the description and check out Blade Devil on Indiegogo. You will not be disappointed. Looking forward to seeing you there.